Chambers, Town of St. Mary's. We are broadcasting live on the Town of St. Mary's YouTube channel. I'll begin this morning by asking for declarations of peculiar interest, starting with Councillor Craigmile.
None.
Councillor Edney.
None.
Councillor Luna.
None.
Councillor Lucas.
None.
Councillor Pridham.
None.
Councillor Alward.
None.
And I have none. The agenda was circulated. Are there any errors, omissions, problems with the agenda? I'll seek a motion that the June 17th, 2025 special meeting of council agenda be accepted as presented. Someone willing to move that motion? Moved by Councillor Pridham, seconded. Councillor Craigmile. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Motion's carried. Okay, so we have just the one item today with regards to the Aquatic Center report and a request for additional scope of work. We have Mr. Lapointe and Stephanie as well on the line, and we'll ask Doug to start, please.
Yes, we're just bringing a quick report to request some additional funding to complete some additional upgrades that would be part of the asset management plan, and we would be going through this at a future shutdown to ask for funding for upgrades. We're just basically asking to take advantage of the current shutdown. The scope of the project that is ongoing today is going fairly well. It's still tracking on budget. We're continue to get advice from our consultants and engineers. They do scrutinize the scope of work and the change orders that are coming through to make sure that we stay on budget and that our money is spent fairly. All of that is going well. And so the one thing that has come up is the timeline has been extended due to some additional work that we've talked about previously. That has not changed. There's been no new surprises of any significant discussion required. There's just been a few little details that we work through on a daily basis as we're doing the renovation. But because of that extended delay in the timeline from the original construction schedule, we thought now would be a good time to take advantage of doing the additional work in the change rooms, which is basically upgrading paint in the lifeguard office, replacing some the lifeguard chairs that are going to be replaced. We'll also take advantage of replacing the sauna windows in the sauna and resanding all the sand. So we're just basically trying to get some additional items that we want to make look good when we reopen. And it's all work that we would be asking to be completed within the next couple of years anyways. All indications are that once the shutdown is over and we reopen to the public again, hopefully in the fall, as we've said previously, that we'll be in such a condition that we won't actually have to do a major shutdown for a couple of years. We don't know that answer for sure. We're going to follow the advice of our mechanical consultant on that, but all indications are that if we can get this work done now, we're not going to be asking to shut down for any major maintenance for quite a bit of time because everything should be in good shape. There's warranty periods that we'll work through and recommendations on future mechanical equipment, but everything's looking good. So we're asking to do this now and just sort of refresh the change rooms at the same time as the pool deck and give everybody something to look forward to when they return. So happy to answer any questions about the scope or anything else you might have.
Okay, questions with regards to the requests and in general with regards to the pool project? Councillor Craigmile?
Thank you, Worship. Doug, just help me out a little bit here. From my understanding, the initial assessment done on the pool and everything was really related to the safety and condition. So the work you're asking for today is something that's been identified when you've been looking at for the asset management plan of what needs to be done in the next 5 years, money we have to spend, and now you're thinking that the timeline right now during the shutdown is best to get this done and it'll look a lot better when everybody goes in the change areas. Am I reading that correctly?
Through your worship to Councillor Craigmire, that is correct. The additional work, there's really nothing there that's a critical health and safety concern. We've addressed all that within the major renovation. This is updates, just as you've described, that would come up in the asset management plan.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions? Comments? Councilor Pridham?
What was the timeline for this in the asset management plan for this work?
Through your worship to Council President. Yep. It varied. It depended on what the item was. If you take one example, so the sauna windows, for example, we didn't actually have that identified in the asset management plan as a separate item. The sauna itself had an amount that would come up in a life cycle plan in the future just to update it as a whole. So it was 2 or 3 years down the road, but because of the condition of the windows, that needs to be done immediately. And then we thought at the same time it would be a good time to also resand all the finishes and sort of give it a refresh. So the different items, it depended. The highest priorities would have been the partitions in the family change room. We did the men's and the women's already. We didn't do the family change room a couple years ago because they were still in decent condition, but they are now showing signs of wear and tear. The hinges are rusty, so they would have been next, as well as the painting would have come up over time as also the ceiling tiles. So they were probably 2 or 3 years down the road, but with everything else looking sort of new and refreshed, and we're changing the paint scheme on the pool deck, it makes a lot of sense to sort of match it with the new updates if we can do that now and take advantage of it.
Councilor Luna?
Thank you, Worship. I'm okay with spending this money now, one, because we have to look at a future shutdown to get this work done, and two, because we're probably saving money. If some of these things were in the future, they're going to be more expensive, so we're probably saving some money by doing it now, so I'm fine with it.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Lucas?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess my only question is, there's no further problems to be identified. I just want to make sure that if we go this route, we don't have a request to council in August saying, oh, we've uncovered something else. Have we uncovered everything that we, can foreseeably see, I guess?
Through your worship to Councillor Lucas, Grant may want to pop on this and speak to it, but in my opinion, we are beyond the point of uncovering everything that needs to be uncovered, and we're now starting to get things put back together. So we don't anticipate any further surprises, basically because we peeled everything back as far as we need to go, and there haven't been any major concerns identified up to this point that we don't already know about.
Okay.
Grant, did you want to add to that, or you?
If Councillor, through your worship, if Councillor Lucas is comfortable with Mr. LaPointe's answer, I'm comfortable with the answer as well.
Okay, thank you for that. Councilor Alward?
Oh, honestly, I was just going to echo most of what Councillor Luna had said. I think that it's best if we start to line some of this stuff up. That way, when we reopen, everything's looking fresh, looking good, and the public will be have a renewed sense of confidence that we've done a good job and everything's up to snuff. I think that's where we're at. So,
Councilor Craig Ma?
Thank you, Worship. So Doug, is it fair to say that getting this work done isn't going to change your timeline? It's all going to be done within the timeline of when you expect to be done anyways?
Through your worship to Council Craig Mile, that is what they have indicated, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any further questions, comments? Just, this is out of the scope, but do you mind, Doug, just, or Stephanie, whichever, commenting on what the open house will look like, just so council's aware, and sort of the format you expect? Just a little bit so we're prepared for those of us that would attend, please.
Sure, I can answer that. So the open house will be an open format. We will have boards up around the room. It'll be in the end zone, first of all, so everybody can look over into the pool area and see the work that has been completed. We will have boards around the room showing pictorials of what the pool looks like, some explanations about the budget to date, because as Doug spoke, we are on budget right now, and we anticipate we will continue. Staff will be around the room as well to answer questions that anybody may have as they look at the boards. We're going to be there just to be able to answer questions. So it's a very open format for individuals to come and go as they wish.
Okay, thank you. Anything further from council? Councilor Craigmile?
Thank you, Worship. I had one question, and just, you can delay me if it's not the right timing, but those pictures around when they took the cladding off by the windows and the rust all over the beams and then getting that structural report, can you just give me a high level of what you found out there?
Sure, I can do that through your worship to Councillor Lucas. What we discovered was once we opened up all the walls and once we kind of peeled back the window frames, it was just more of the same. It was corrosion, some surface rust. There was evidence of dissolved salt residue that was hanging around doing its thing that we've seen throughout. We had it all closely inspected by structural engineers that work for our consultants. Everything's either surface rust or anything else that's non-structural in nature, so we don't have to worry about the structural integrity of any steel or any finished walls. There was some conversation about whether we would have to replace some window frames or if we can just clean them up, put primer on them and some zinc paint on some window columns, and then they're actually discussing a way to reduce the amount of drywall that we put back up and actually cover things with stainless steel instead, which is a lot more durable, a lot less, we don't have to go back and worry about what the drywall looks like. Things of that nature, nothing really structural. There were some spots where we took drywall off the walls and everything actually looked better than what we thought it would look. And then there was some spots where it's like, okay, this kind of looks like what we expected it to look based on how things look nearby. But overall, things were generally just in a condition of it sat in a high humidity, salt and chemical residue environment. And it wasn't a lot different than other things we'd seen.
So just as a follow-up then, my initial reaction to when I saw those pictures had a lot of dollar signs, and that's not the case.
No, that's not the case. There was some good conversation between structural engineers, architects, and the building inspectors, Grant and Jason Silcox, and we all came to an agreement that a lot of it can just be sort of restored versus replaced, which saved a lot of time and cost. It was encouraging to see at that point. And that meeting happened probably about a month ago.
Thanks, Doug.
Okay. Any further from council? Okay, are we ready to put the motion on the floor then? Is everyone okay? I'll put the motion on the floor then. The DCS 41-2025 Aquatic Center Upgrades Project request for additional scope of work be received, and that council approve an additional funding amount of $90,850 for recommended architectural upgrades to the Aquatic Center to be funded from the General Capital Reserve, and the council approve the sole sourcing of the additional architectural upgrades to DEI Consulting Engineers for consulting services and Elgin Contracting and Restoration Limited for general contractor services, and that the Director of Community Services or their designate is authorized to sign the necessary change orders. So I'm willing to move that motion. Moved by Councillor Luna, seconded by Councillor Craigmile. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? The motion is carried. Okay. Thank you for your report.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Okay, next up is item number 5, which is bylaws. They suggest a motion that bylaw 39-2025, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the June 17th, 2025 special meeting of council, be approved by council. Someone willing to move that motion? Moved by Councillor Lucas, second by Councillor Allward. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Motion's carried. And finally, I'll put a motion on the floor that this special meeting of council be adjourned at 12:10 p.m. Someone willing to move that motion? Moved by Councillor Luna, seconded Councillor Pridham. All in favor? The motion's carried. Thank you for today.